In 2025, your biggest advantage isn't knowing how to code. It's knowing to ask the right questions. And in this video, I'm going to show you how regular people like you and me can build similar products while others are waiting for the perfect time. But first, let's have a look at this product that I built using AI. Okay, so this is a product that I built using Claude, and that's it. Just Claude, and I used a helper tool that I built using AI, using Claude. And this is not a very simple product. It's a very, very complicated product actually. It has a lot of features, and those features also have certain kind of behaviors. Like this particular toolbar, it only appears when I select one of these objects. When I select a line, it's a different toolbar. Okay, so it's a very complicated app, and I built this using AI without knowing how to code at all. I've not written a single line of code for this particular application. And I truly believe that it's not the skill and the ability to write code, but the right mindset that helps you build stuff like this. Okay, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about how we can go ahead and create something like this. Okay, and the best part is that I'm actually able to use the product that I have built to create this video. And right from start, that was always my goal, because my background is in video creation. If you think about it, lots of graphic designers, video creators, they've all lost their job in a way because the AI has brought in some X factors that even regular people can create videos and graphics. Rather than screaming about, oh my God, my job is gone, see what advantages can AI bring to you. For someone who's a video creator, in my first year of engineering, there was a practical subject called CCP. I got 7 marks in it. I got 7 out of 50. Who gets 7? But I did. So this is something, coding is something that doesn't really work with my brain. But at this point in time, I have an application which I built, which is a coded website. I didn't code it, AI did. So I'm absolutely happy with how it has turned out, and I'm really, really proud of what I've done. And I want the same for you guys, because this is not, the ability to code is not going to hold you back from not creating stuff. I'm just going to give you 3 points. By shifting the mindset on those 3 points, you can start building on your own. Okay, so the first one really is start building before you're ready. Okay, and what does that mean? Because we're conditioned from childhood. So first we have to learn, then we need a degree, and then we need to go get a job and whatever. So there is a process for all of these things. So you learn first, then you build. Right now, we are in a stage where we can learn while building, and that is always the best. But if you think about it, we learn the most when we are on the job, right? Whatever we want to learn in theory, we can learn, but then on the job is when you practically learn stuff. That's just how it is, right? So similarly, here, you just start building. For example, I'll just give you an example of how I got started. So this is the first application that I started, and I started building this like 5 to 6 days into doing this. So the first thing that I did was I wanted to build a tool for one of my blogs. So I did that, and it was pretty easy. And I was like, okay, this is something that I can do. I built another tool for another blog, and that was a little more complicated. And I was like, oh, I can do this. And then I was seeing a lot of people actually use one of these products, something like Miro or whatever, to create videos. And I was like, okay, that's very, it's easier for people to make videos like this. And I'd like to have something like that. So I just started, the first prompt that I gave Claude was build me a simple flow chart. Okay, at that point in time, for me, I was just checking if AI can give me a code, which if I select an object like this, and I just move it around, I can move it on a canvas. I just wanted to know if that was possible. And it worked. I think in the first or the second prompt itself, I got this. And this gave me enough confidence to say, okay, I'm going to build this. Okay. So it wasn't like I knew this was going to happen, but I was like, okay, let me take action. And on the way, you learn. Okay. So I didn't know how to prompt. None of those things. I was just simply having English conversation with Claude, and it was giving me results. But on the way, you learn like, okay, you have to give a certain kind of prompts. You don't want to give negative prompts at certain stages. At different stages, you need to give negative prompts. And we'll go into all of that in another video because that takes a long time to explain. But that's what it is. Learn while you're building. Okay, just start building, and you learn in the process. It's just how it is. Okay, so don't worry about, oh, I need to first learn, I have to watch a lot of videos and then start. Just start. You will build something in the process. Okay, and let's say you're not confident and you really don't know what you want to build. Let's say you have an idea, you have this product in mind which you want to build. Okay, and you haven't really used a lot of that, but you want to build it. So you can always ask the AI, what features do I add in this particular product? Okay, so just give me a list of features that I want to add into this product and the right order in which I want to add these features. And the AI will reply back and give you the right direction for how to build the app. So don't worry if you don't know everything. You can just keep asking the AI questions. That's what it is for, right? So it's not just you're not just using it for coding, you're actually using it to clear your doubts. And one more thing I would say is initially probably try to build something which is on screen rather than like a lot of backend processes and all that. If you can build something which is more visual, more on screen, it'll be a lot easier, because for someone who knows something about coding, for them this is not a big deal. But for someone like us who doesn't know anything about coding, any processes, none of these things, for us keeping it simple would be a good start, because that would genuinely help us going forward. Okay, so the first thing is start building before you're ready. Okay, because you're always ready. That's just a fact. You need to just accept it. And the second one, okay, second one is think like a problem solver. Now, what does that mean? Okay, a lot of the time when you're building stuff, mostly people, I think, you tend to think that you have to think like a coder, right? What would a coder do? No, you can think about it in a very different way. Think about what problems are there and how do you solve it? Because the whole goal is to break down the problems and solve it one by one. So when you build something, there'll be some issues. Like, let's say, for example, I'll take this app. Okay, so when I was building, I was quite clear that I don't want to have a premium plan for this. Initially, I thought, because I didn't know if I could give support, I didn't have the confidence to say, oh, I built this. Now, if a user is paying for it and they have an issue, will I be able to solve it? I wasn't sure. So I very clearly thought, okay, I'm going to have ads running on this part of the screen on the right side. Okay. And so these things, the toolbar that you're seeing here, the color toolbar, it was on the side here and it was always there. It wasn't like, okay, I'll click on this thing, then it will appear, and I click on the canvas, it disappears. It wasn't there like that. It was always there on the right side. It took up quite a bit of space. And it's like, okay, on the right side, I'm planning to have ads run. Okay, that's going to take a certain amount of space. And then I have this toolbar, which is always there on screen, which takes up a lot of space once again. And I was like, no, that's not a good idea. So let's have that show up only when it is selected. When an object is selected, that toolbar shows up. Okay. And similarly, I also wanted to make sure that each of the selections, so right now, all these features are available, right? That's needed for this particular object. But if I select the connection line, you can see this is what it looks. Just the colors, the thickness, and whether you want it to be straight or Bezier or stepped. Okay, so I can change it to stepped or Bezier or whatever. I'm just going to go back to straight here. So those are the options which is needed for this particular object, not for this one. So only show what is necessary for the selected object. So what did I solve here? I made sure that that space which was being taken up by the toolbar, which was always there on screen, is gone. Now I have that space free on the canvas. You just have to think what is good for your app and just talk to the AI. Okay. And that's what I'm saying. The next is having conversations. A lot of the time, what happens is that when you're building something, you might get stuck somewhere. It's like the AI, you're constantly giving it prompts and the AI is giving you something, but it's not really solving the problem. What do you do then? Right? And sometimes you just, going back and forth for a couple of days and you still haven't gotten the result. So you have to say, okay, take the entire code, put it into Claude and say, this is the issue that I have within this code. Can you create a PDF or a report which details why that issue is happening or what is the problem? Can you just list those things rather than coding? Because by default, when you input a code into Claude, it will start coding. It will just start coding. You're like, okay, take a break. Don't code right now. Just explain to me what is wrong. What am I doing wrong? What is going wrong in this particular code? Why is this weird behavior happening? And how do we solve it? Right? So this kind of conversation that you can have can really actually solve a lot of problems that you will face. Okay, you can go about it from different angles. You could say, what is the problem here? Just explain to me. Or you can say, this is what I'm doing. This is what I want. The behavior of the app is not as per my needs. And this is what is happening. How do we solve it? So you can go about it in multiple angles. But basically speaking, if you think like a problem solver, you can build it. It's not about the code. It's not about the equations. It's about what problems are there in place and how do we solve it. Okay. And have the right conversations to solve the problem. So think like a problem solver. That is the second one. And the third one, I think, is something that right now a lot of people are. It's like when you were starting a blog, everyone would be like, a lot of people would be stuck at what niche to start. What niche do I start my blog in, right? You're stuck in the niche space that you're not doing anything. Right now, you have the ability to code whatever you want in whichever, like let's say Next.js, React. But for someone like us who doesn't know how to code at all, we've never done it. For someone like that, it's very hard in the starting to say, oh, I have a React code. Now, how do I visualize it? As long as Claude allows you to see the output in the artifact, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. But if the code becomes longer than one single artifact, now you have a problem. Now you have to go back and figure out, how do I visualize my React code? How do I visualize my Next.js code? That's a problem. Initially, for starters, it's a block. It's like, okay, you're just getting started and now you're stuck. This is actually a very, very important thing. When you're getting started, you just want to see what you've created and you want this whole process to be easy. So I would say, if you don't worry about React and Next.js and all that, if you don't know how to code, just create applications using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. That's it. Don't go into complicated territory. Keep it easy for yourself, because the advantage of HTML, CSS and JavaScript is that there are websites which can visualize the code that you've written very easily. Okay. Say for example, I'm just going to copy this code that I've written. So when I was building this application, I've had a problem. So basically, if I just click on this and click on this fill color, this color picker shows up, which is the default HTML color picker. The problem that I face here is that it has RGB. It doesn't have alpha value. Okay. And I really was like, it was annoying. I wanted to create something. So I created a color picker. Okay. So I'm just going to, so how do I visualize a code written in HTML? I'll just go to codeviewit.com here. Okay. I'm just going to paste that code that I copied. I'm just going to click on this toggle here, preview. Now this doesn't seem like a lot because the function here is just simply this one. Okay. So if someone clicks on the color picker, this is what you get. So as usual, you have this RGB, but it also has the alpha value. Okay. So R, G, B and A. So if I want to pick some color from somewhere, I can just go in, pick that color and it will update here. Okay. So I can visualize my code however I want to visualize my code. That is the advantage of simply using HTML, and really just use take advantage of websites like Code View It, where you can visualize your code and you can edit the code. So for example, I want to find this code in this code base. Okay. And I'm somewhere here. Now this is just barely like 400 lines of code. Okay. My main code, the flow chart is 8,000 lines, 8,000 lines of code. It's a lot, and finding one line of code that needs to be like, let's say one function is changed, and finding that function is really, really hard in an 8,000 line code. So you can just simply put it here and it will automatically scroll down to that, and you can edit whatever code you want to edit, you can do that. Okay. And that's the advantage. And this is another product that I built using AI. Okay. So if you think about it, so it's not just like there is code return or whatever. There is the syntax highlighting different colors which highlight everything. So if you see this one here, utility functions, why is it's in a different color and these are bright colors? Why is that important? Because when you're working with Claude, very, very often you'll find that it will skip a certain bit of code and write existing code. So // ... existing code, use existing code or whatever. Okay. So if you just copy something and put it out there and it didn't work, you went to preview and it didn't work, and you're like, okay, what happened? Okay. So if you just look at the code here, you can see that in this light color, you'll have, okay, something like that. That's the problem. So you go in and fill that up. So that's what I'm talking about. So with HTML, you have the ability to actually visualize the code that you have built. Okay. So keep it very, very simple. And that is what it is. Seeing your first web page live is very, very important. If you get stuck at a point in the starting where, how do I see my code? How do I visualize my code? If you go into that mindset and you're like, okay, I've been trying to do this for the last 3 hours. It's not working. I'm not able to see my code. And yeah, I don't think this works. This is not my thing. You might be like, you'll be very disheartened and you'll be like, okay, let's not do this. Let's not do this. Okay. And move on to do other things. So what you really need is a big win in the starting. So you want to see your code live. That's very, very important. So that's why I say, don't go crazy with your tech stack with React and all. If you know how to do it, great, fantastic, no problem. That's not a problem at all. And don't think about, okay, even when you're creating codes in HTML, CSS and JavaScript, don't think, oh, I want modularized code. I want multiple folders, multiple files. Don't think about that right now. Just create the code, keep a vertical one. I mean, that's not the best. And any coder will tell you that's idiotic and stupid and whatever. But trust me, when you're starting, you just really want to see the stuff happening. You want to see your app, your website on a web page. Okay. And so keep it very, very simple. And later on, you can have this conversation with AI. Like I said, you have those conversations and say, here's the thing, this is my product. And I've built one single line of code. It's a single file. I want to modularize it. Okay. So whatever it is, when you get stuck, go talk to the AI. Just give it a prompt. Just say, this is what I want. Don't code. I want the solution. Do this for me. And I truly believe that if you can make this simple mindset shift, it's going to help you build amazing things. You will very easily create applications and websites. And once you get started with this, the world is out there for you to conquer. That's just basically how it is. Start building, because you can now. Even though you cannot code, the AI can code for you. If you don't want to use Cursor, Bolt.new, Lovable, and various different products out there, just simply start using Claude. Get a pro version of Claude because it's just $20 and you just start using that. You don't have to get every single product out there. You just want to get started. So start using Claude, and that should really get you started on this. Change your mindset. Just don't go into the trap of learn and not doing anything. Start building, you learn. Okay, that's one thing. Second, think like a problem solver and solve whatever issues are there, and you will build a really strong application by solving one issue after other. And then don't worry about the tech stack, just use HTML. If you are a known coder, if you know how to code, if you know how to visualize your React or Next.js code, then it's not a problem. You can do whatever you want, because even if you know a little bit of code, I think that would be fine. But for someone who doesn't know how to code, HTML is the way to go forward. This should really help you get started. Okay, if you like to see more content like this, please subscribe to the channel, like this video and share this with your friends. And I'll be sure to make more videos like this and help you guys and learn in the process. So I'm learning. I'm not saying I'm an expert in anything at all. I'm learning in the process and I'm learning in public. That's what I'm doing. I'll see you in the next video.